Hey there! Welcome back to Author Journey. My name is CJ Anaya. Today we are going to talk about how to develop character arcs. But before we get started, if you are new to the family and this is the first time you've been here, be sure to hit that subscribe button and hit the little bell that shows up next to it when you do, because if you click on that bell, it will allow you to receive notifications of when I have new videos uploaded. I've had a few people say that they don't get those notifications, and so I just wanted to make it clear that if you hit that little bell thingy next to the subscribe button, then that's how you will get notified. So, okay, moving on. How to develop character arcs. I'm doing different parts to this because this is extensive, and I've had a lot of questions about character arcs, about character mapping, and I feel that it's very important. So I want to be able to cover all of these things, but I don't want the videos to be incredibly long because I know that we are all busy. So hopefully this will just be 10 minutes and it'll be part one, and then I'll just keep doing new parts so that you continue to learn, okay? Okay, so first question for all you newbies. What is a character arc? Okay, a character arc is all about the transformation or inner journey of a character throughout a story. A character starts out one way and slowly develops over time into a slightly different person or a dramatically different person in response to events within the story. So there are three main types of character arcs. The positive change arc is the one that is most used in fiction due to the fact that it's so relatable to readers and it's just very popular. The protagonist usually starts out with certain flawed beliefs, personal weaknesses, or unfulfilled desires. And then throughout the course of the story, those beliefs, those personal flaws, and personal demons, they're all challenged. And the protagonist must overcome these failings and make necessary changes in a positive way by the end of the story. The flat arc is exactly what it implies. The character just doesn't necessarily grow because the character arc starts with a character who is already very well developed and knows him or herself. There isn't any huge growth to be had because the protagonist is already a fully developed hero. So instead, this character's sense of self is really the catalyst for change within the story. So this hero is really affecting change in everyone else and in the storyline. Okay? The negative change arc is just a reverse engineered version of the positive change arc. So the character doesn't improve by the end of the story. Instead, the protagonist ends up worse off than he or she was at the start of the book. So what I really want to do is I want to go over the positive change arc first. And just discuss how you're going to craft this in this first part, and it's probably going to move into the second part as well. So character arcs are essentially the plot and theme of any story, because the plot of a story is all about what the character's goal is and how the achievement of that goal is being thwarted. So I've talked about wants and needs all the time, and people are like, is that really necessary? Yes. We don't know what this book is about if we don't know what your character is trying to accomplish. So wants, goals, needs, it's all important, has to be thwarted. The character wants something but can't have it, okay? They can't have it, and they continue to go after it until they get it. That's the plot, that's the story. It's the internal and external conflicts the character faces that push the plot along and create the character arc. So the positive change arc is all about the protagonist changing priorities. And in K.M. Whelan's book, Creating Character Arcs, she states that character realizes he isn't getting what he wants for two reasons. One, he wants the wrong thing. Or two, his moral methods for achieving what he wants are all wrong. And I'm going to put a link to this book in the description below. I have tons of links to tons of resources. Please check them out because they are also helpful. But I have this book. I go and buy books on writing constantly, and I'm constantly reading them because I can always improve, and there's always different ways to do things. So I hope that when you are educating yourself here, you're also educating yourself through other authors and through other books and seeing what they've done as well. So please check this out because she's fabulous. I really, really love everything she's written. Okay, first steps for positive change. In order for your character to develop and grow in a positive way, there needs to be something lacking within the character's life to necessitate change. So he is incomplete internally in some way and holds to limiting beliefs about himself, others, or the world as a whole. The first act of your story, or the first 25% of the book, gives you the time to introduce this problem, a problem he may or may not be aware of until the inciting incident hits, where his world is turned upside down now and his beliefs are challenged. I've talked about the inciting incident before. I've talked about how to outline a book and given you a structure for the first 25%, the next 50%, and the next or the last 25%. So I believe that video is entitled How to Outline a Novel, or Outlining a Novel. So you can check that out. I didn't go into huge detail, but that will also help you kind of lay out the book as well. But this has to do with that. I talk about inciting incidents. It's just an event that changes everything. The character is going along, everyday stuff happening, and suddenly this inciting incident propels them forward on their journey. And all of their beliefs are challenged. So K.M. Whelan called this problem, or the misconception that your character holds, as the lie your character believes. Okay, so what lie does your particular character believe in at the beginning of your story? In My Fair Assassin, so I want to talk about my books and give you some examples of how I utilize this. Krista believes changing herself to look and behave like everyone else is the only way she will ever be accepted and loved. That is the lie she believes, okay? And that shapes the entire series and has continued to shape it, and it's just been so fun because this lie can affect so many things. It affects relationships. It affects a person's ability to believe in themselves and to accomplish the things they want to accomplish. It affects reactions and actions. So really focus in on what that lie is that your character believes in. In The Healer, Hope believes she should use her powers to heal everyone she can, even if they are meant to die. And that causes some very real moral dilemmas for her as she goes through her journey, trying to figure out, is abuse of power okay when it comes to saving lives, which is a wonderful thing to be doing. But should she be doing it if she's abusing her power to do it? So figure out what that lie is. And the best way to do that is to ask yourself questions. I always have a very hard time figuring out details of a story if I don't know what the right questions are to be asking myself, which is why I love character maps and templates, because they have tons of questions. They ask you tons of questions about your character that you can answer, gets your ideas flowing and brainstorming all over the place. So your first step for creating this arc is to determine what lie your character believes. Ask yourself these questions. What is your protagonist's misconception about himself or the world? What is he lacking because of this misconception, because of this lie? What are the symptoms of this lie? In other words, how is it reflected on an internal and external level? How is the lie affecting your character when the story starts? And how does the inciting incident or the first plot point begin to challenge this lie, or at the very least make your character feel a bit torn because of it? Now, in the next slide, I'm going to answer all these questions through my own story to give you an idea of how I did this and how this works. Okay, so we're going to use My Fair Assassin. So what is Krista's misconception, or the lie that she believes in this book? It's that she'll never be loved if she doesn't fit in and look like everyone else. And what is she lacking? She lacks faith in herself, in her innate talents, her abilities, and her worth because of this lie. The symptoms for this lie, both internally and externally, have to do with the self-loathing she feels, the inability to accept who she is. And then externally, she uses plastic surgery and hair dyes to improve her outward appearance. So she can't overcome these symptoms, these desires, the desire to change everything about her appearance and her behavior, and even her secret abilities. She can't overcome this until she stops believing in the lie. Now, the story starts with Krista willing to give up without a fight when an assassin comes to kill her. She doesn't have anyone in her life. There's no one who will miss her. She's tired of just surviving, and so she has no fight in her. She has no reason to value who she is or her own life, and so she just gives up. This is a problem, this huge problem. So the first challenge or plot point within this narrative comes when Jareth claims she isn't human and can't understand why she would want to look like one. Because the inciting incident really happens right from the beginning when suddenly an assassin is there, changing up her routine, changing up everything for her. And then the plot point occurs a little bit later when he doesn't kill her because he's intrigued by her. He feels that she is different. He feels there is a mistake, that clearly she's not human, and so he's intrigued as to why he's been assigned to this contract to hurt her, to kill her. So Krista's own sense of self is now turned upside down as she tries to accept who she really is. Now, the first book is more of a novella, because when I originally wrote it, it was only 7,000 words, but it got so popular, I decided to expand it, and then everyone liked the first novella so much, it became a series. Anyway, I've told this before. What I'm trying to say is that when your books are shorter, the first 25% of that book is going to be shorter. So things have to happen a little bit faster. So just determine your word count and then divide that up and figure out what that first 25% of your book is. And then you'll be able to kind of figure out where that inciting incident needs to happen. Mine needed to happen pretty much right out of the gate, because that initial plot point happens. So Act 1 is pretty short for my book, since it's about 38,000 words. This book is free on Amazon. You can download it. Right now, I'll put the link in there along with that other link to the book on character arcs that I referenced earlier. That way, you can take a look at both of these and see how I've applied some of the things being taught in that character arc book, what I'm teaching you here. Plus, it's a fun book. So you can grab that. You can also check out the box set, but it's free, so yay. We like free, right? Anyways, we're going to, in part 2, in the next video, we're going to go over wants and needs and how that applies to character arcs. And hopefully this was helpful for you. Please like it if you felt it was. Please remember to subscribe and hit that little bell button so you'll get the next notification for when I put out part 2. And that way we can just keep learning how to apply these character arcs, how to develop really awesome, complex characters from the get-go, so that you guys are writing fabulous books that everybody wants to read. Okay, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.